Vishal Gurbuxani, Sumit Rai, Krishna Subramanian, and Sunil Verma are the four founders of Mobclix. That's me with them. Mobclix is a mobile ad exchange provider for apps, which has been acquired by Velti, a global mobile marketing agency.
What's next for you guys?
So one of the things with us, right, we like to do, we like to push ourselves to the limit. We like to do exciting things, right? So it's work hard, play hard, right? So whatever we're doing, we'll, if people, say jump this high, we'll jump 10 times higher, right? Just to see if we can and just to prove that we can, right? So what's next is it's pretty exciting because in just 3 days. So Sunil's doing an half Ironman triathlon.
Wow.
So it's basically swimming until you can't swim anymore, biking until you can't bike anymore, and then running all at once, back to back to back.
So all four of you guys are doing that, right?
No, we're there for support, but he's the athlete.
I have some questions for you, Sunil. So I hear that you turned vegetarian. How long have you been vegetarian, and why did you make this choice? Another question is, because you're training, you know how everyone tells you that you need to eat a lot of protein, and people say vegetarians don't get enough protein. What do you think about that?
I became like coming from sort of a traditional Indian family, a majority of the time, you do eat vegetarian. A lot of the diet is vegetarian already. And when I was around 13 or 14, just had, a lot of life changes and a lot of things sort of happened. And I thought, vegetarianism would be interesting to try out for a year. I really liked how I felt afterwards. I really liked sort of the energy it gave you.
Yeah.
And, it just stuck. So I never really kind of went back to any of that. But I think it really is different for each and every person. I think, it kind of comes into, again, like what goals do you have for yourself? What are you trying to achieve by doing something? How does it really play into your lifestyle? Because, there's no point in becoming, a vegetarian or a vegan and then kind of like having to throw it in everyone's faces and kind of when you go out to eat, you're making a big deal about it. So it's like, we do live in a place where, luckily in California, everyone's very accommodating. But when you go out, you have to kind of be able to be accommodating yourself. So I think, that's that on vegetarianism. With regards to training and how do you get enough protein, I think, the Indian diet has enough sort of, legumes and a lot of, vegetables in it where you are getting enough protein on a daily basis. I think, if you're in sort of an intense training period, by supplementing that with shakes and whatnot, I think a lot of people are very used to doing that now. And I think you can be a vegetarian or a vegan and get really good results. A lot of the top triathletes today are, vegan. One of the guys, his name is Scott Jurek. He wrote a book called Eat and Run. He's actually a complete vegan, and he set a number of the world's longest run distances. So he's an ultra marathoner. So I think there's a lot of examples out there of kind of how to mix in diet and training, and to really live sort of the lifestyle you want and still achieve the goals that you want to. The first thing I did was stop eating all those prontas on Saturday morning. So, I had to really cut back on a lot of the, the carb-heavy foods for like that we'd have on a daily basis. But, it's really just about, just like how you manage a business, you step back, take a look at sort of what metrics are really sort of driving the success, what works, what doesn't work, and then you start to pull those levers, right? There's a pretty big movement around the quantified self. So, the first thing you do is, you basically build a really big spreadsheet in terms of, what you're eating on a daily basis, how much, exercise you're doing, how does that sort of translate into either exercise goals or your weight loss goals, and then basically tracking that. So, that becomes getting a scale at home that you can track easily on a daily basis. Having that connected to your iPhone, so it's kind of top of mind. Having something accessible, so when you are eating something, that you can actually input that and then go back home at night and say, okay, well, what did I eat throughout the day? How is that different in terms of the carbs, proteins and whatnot, and does it really give me enough energy? Just like when you're looking at a business, does this give you enough profit? Is this enough revenue that we need to succeed? Do we need to cut back on specific things? So I think by being a very good manager of kind of data, as well as kind of figuring out what is it going to take to achieve the goal, that's sort of how, I think a lot of people are doing it. And, I think the quantified self movement is really great because it's getting a lot of people in shape that, that probably wouldn't have, as well as it gives you an opportunity to play with lots of little toys and gadgets that, you normally wouldn't. So I think both Krishna and Vishal are running the up band from Jawbone. So I think that's pretty exciting. That's how we know when Krishna's moving or not. So, or not to bother him if he's micronapping.
Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.
So you guys are.
We'll see.
What is something you guys splurge on?
I think personally, ice cream is really important to me. But seriously, I think after sort of when you look at, what are the things that you can really sort of go out and do, there's not really much that, I think everyone else doesn't kind of do on a daily basis anyways. And I think when you do kind of want to splurge, you kind of, want to get the people that, that you love and that are close to you. So like your family and your friends, and, have an experience that's, different and something that is going to be, remembered lifelong versus like sort of a material thing. Because our time is pretty limited on this earth, and how do you kind of make the most of it? And I think that's something that I think all of us take to heart. So, my family is, first and foremost, like to make sure that the kids are happy. So maybe go get them a new toy or something, and then when I get an opportunity to take off with the guys, we'll go and do something really exciting. So that's something that's been nuts.
Yeah, and just echoes. Basically, I think the pivot thing is that you share experiences, because I think a lot of ways is we're kind of the sum of our experiences in terms of what you look back in life. So I think a lot of us are just fortunate to we've known each other now for such a long time, 10 to 12 years, and a lot of them basically are considered my family for me. So that's why for me it's very synonymous. So when I will splurge with my parents or my sisters, I'll do the same thing with these guys, only just because it's kind of like we have one life here, and you have to just make our experiences memorable. And we work very hard, and we also play hard at times as well. And we just try we try to balance everything out. And I think also just because of the industries we're in, we also just got to travel a lot too. Mm-hmm. Everything from trips that we took to Asia to Europe as well. And we've been able to look back and go like, wow, those are some just amazing memories that are essentially lifelong. So I think that those are, for us, it's not so much material things as much as the experiences that you'll remember.
I think they hit all the salient points. We've done a lot of partying, we've done a lot of traveling.
You have traveled and partied a lot. What are some funny and embarrassing moments?
Pass.
No pass.
Yeah,
You got one?
Oh, awesome.
I've got one funny story. I'm just looking at people because, we travel a lot, and a lot of times it's like completely like overnight, and red eyes, and we're working all day, going to dinners, and then waking up and doing the same thing over and over again. So we had flown out to Japan, and so it was a pretty like, it was like a red eye, and we had gone, I don't know, from like New York for a few hours, and then back to the airport, Japan. And we were in a meeting all day, right? We hadn't slept the night before. We were in a meeting all day. Then we go out and we go to dinner with the team out there. And then the next morning, Vishal has this whole like day of sightseeing set up, like a samurai tour and, ninja star making thing, right? So he's really adamant about going, and we're just passed out. And I still remember, I was like, all right, we'll be there. He's like, no, you're coming now. And I remember him like trying so hard, like dragging people by the feet. And but unfortunately he was the only one who made it. But because we share experiences together, right, we were able to see all the photos and Photoshop ourselves into the photos. Yeah.
What is your favorite place you've traveled to?
That's actually a really hard question. I think if you really want to kind of go and experience sort of historical and like cultural type of things, you kind of go to Europe and London and whatnot, and you get that aspect, right? But for me, Asia Pacific definitely holds like a special place in my heart, not just because I've kind of worked there and lived there, and my family's from there and whatnot, but I think the pace of life is just so much faster out there. I think there's an energy that you don't get from Europe. There's like sort of this like no bullshit, like let's cut to the chase and just get things done. And I think that's a very much similar lifestyle that we have out here in the Bay Area, where it's let's kind of get to the point and move on. And I think you can see that in everywhere from Singapore to like Bombay to Shanghai or Beijing. You go to places like Japan, and that's like an organized chaos where even though there's so much like deep historical culture, they're just still so like culturally advanced. And I think it's really great to kind of see that out there in different areas. So I think I think just from experiences, we've been able to travel a lot. I think that to riff off what Sunil was saying, I think it depends on what you want to do. I think if you want to travel a lot, I think Europe is just beautiful, just because you can hop. The train system there is gorgeous. Yeah. For Sumit's birthday, we went to the south of France. That was very exciting, to say the least. And then memories like that. But I think if you want to get stuff done, I think Asia is definitely between like Beijing, Shanghai, places in India as well. And you can just hop around and just. The thing there is that there's just so much energy and so much innovation as well. Just because people want to get stuff done, you can organize teams there and actually see progress happen in places that are very cost effective. Whereas here you have to be a lot more conscious of what you want to do and how much you want to spend on that stuff as well.
It's definitely around the Asia Pac. We've had a lot of fun trips. Like these guys took me to Saint-Tropez and south of France on my birthday, which was pretty interesting. The year before that took me to Miami, but
Any stories from there?
Vishal's birthday. We took him to Hong Kong for the weekend.
Oh.
That was kind of fun. We ended up on a boat that we couldn't get off of. That was pretty interesting for a little while.
So how long were you stuck on there for?
About 9 hours. But it was, we thought we were going to a party on a beach, but I guess we never found it. So, I guess the maps in Hong Kong aren't quite as accurate. But it was fun, we got to hang out. It's not so much about like where you're going, it's more about who you're going with. And I think that we've been lucky to be able to travel with our family, our friends, at whim whenever we want. And we've had a lot of those opportunities, which has been pretty awesome.
So obviously, right, when you're with people that all love Asia, then you love Asia as well. But outside of that, something that's maybe complete opposite is I think we've all had the chance to go to Greece a few times over the last few years. And if you want to go to a place that's completely opposite of Asia, where you just sit around and you don't do anything and you just relax and you're not connected to the world, right? You're on the beaches, you're on the boats, you're just traveling and sort of lose track of time and disconnect from stuff. The Greek islands are amazing, right? So Santorini, Mykonos, Kefalonia, the waters are amazing out there. So if you like water sports, it's definitely pretty exciting. So.
What's something that you don't leave your house without besides your phone?
Well, one of the things I don't leave without is my water bottle. This is a 2-liter bottle, and I drink quite a bit of water just to stay hydrated. And it's really important to take breaks during the day too, so you can like walk around and talk to people. So the water bottle helps with that. So I never leave the house without the water.
As Sunil was mentioning, the whole quantified self. It's kind of like I always try to think about ways. Just track myself, like how active I am, and I'm trying to notate what I'm eating and stuff. So I think that's kind of the weird thing I'm always looking at doing. It's like how do you measure yourself and how you're sleeping? I'm a big thing about like how much deep sleep I have versus just light sleep, and how you optimize that.
Yes, I guess just your schedule, right? We have pretty busy lives. We do a lot of different things between work and play, and just trying to keep track of everything and make sure we fit everything in.
So. My glasses. Because without them, I definitely can't see very far. Can't make it very far out the door.
What is your favorite app besides the social media ones?
Unfortunately, mine's Netflix, and that's because sometimes when you are doing something and you have the kids sitting around and they're really kind of being they want to play or do something, you need to since the mobile phone is like a pass back device, I'll just kind of throw Netflix up there and give it to them, and I'll get my 5 minutes of work done. So Netflix has definitely saved me a couple of times.
For music, I think I love Spotify. That's just amazing. I mean, I've literally been in a lot of different experiences, and I love a track, and you'll like Shazam it, and then all of a sudden you'll have it in your playlist on Spotify, and you can share it and like, see what other people watch. And then for tracking, Strava is amazing. And then right now the app I'm listening to a lot is an app called Stitcher. It's basically Pandora but for news. So you can literally just start up Stitcher and start rating news content, and it'll start thinking about ways to do it. And I just introduced Sunil to a channel called Short Attention Span. So every 30 seconds, it will literally show him some new news, so he never gets bored. So I'm pretty excited.
I mean, I guess kind of like Sunil's kids, when I need something to play or do, I sort of watch Netflix, so it's probably my favorite app as well.
So, because we travel a lot, one of the apps I like a lot is TripDeck. You can just forward your itineraries to it. It keeps things organized, tells you when your flights are going to be delayed, tells you what numbers to call if you're going to miss your flight if you're running late, and it just keeps things organized. And then my favorite music app is Vishal's station on Spotify. You should all follow him for hours and hours of musical enjoyment.
Well, thank you guys so much. So, Sumit, you do some shayari. Is that true?
No.
Can I hear something?
No.
Please? Do it. Come on. Just like a minute long.
No.
Okay, 30 seconds.
You're such a dreamer.
A sentence, a word.
A word? Share. There's your word.
Come on.
No.
Your most popular shayari.
No. Not.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Sunil.
You guys don't have a celebrity crush?
No, but
While growing up. What about
But I
while
suspect
growing
some
up?
celebrities have crushes on us.
Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.